Have you ever looked up and realized you've been working hard for years? You've been showing up, doing your work, saying yes, helping everyone else succeed. But when you look at your own career, you're not sure where it is actually going. Many of us immigrant professionals, this is where the confusion begins. Many of us were taught if you work hard, people will notice. If you are loyal, the opportunity will follow. If you do excellent work, your career will take care of itself. But here is the truth I wish someone had told me earlier. Hard work is not a career plan. Hard work matters. Excellence matters. Character matters. But hard work without direction can keep you stuck. Hard work without visibility can keep you overlooked. And hard work without a plan can leave you tired, but not necessarily better positioned. So today, let's talk about how to stop working hard without direction and start moving with more intention. Because your career should not just happen to you. You have to participate in building it. Hi, I am Marian, and on this channel, I share lessons from my journey and from my book, Breaking Through, the Immigrant's Handbook for Thriving in the American Workplace, to help immigrant professionals navigate the American workplace with more clarity, confidence, and strategy. This month, we've been talking about some of the hidden things that affect our career growth. We talked about fear, we talked about visibility. And today we are talking about what happens when you are working hard but still not moving forward. Sometimes the problem is not your work ethic. Sometimes the problem is not your talent. Sometimes the problem is that you are moving without a map. You are moving without a map. You are employed but not necessarily growing. You are busy but not necessarily building. And one day, you may realize, I've been in this role for years. I've helped many people. I've solved many problems. I've carried responsibilities that were not even in my job description. But I still do not know what my next step is. So today, I want us to look at two things. Why hard work alone is not enough, and how to know if you are drifting. My first point is hard work alone is not enough. Let me say this carefully. I believe in hard work. I believe in excellence. I believe in doing your job well. So this is not a message that says do less. No. This is a message that says do not confuse effort with direction. And that reminds me of my mentor, Mark Friedman, who said trying hard is not good enough. Anyway, that's for another conversation. Do not confuse effort with direction. Because you can be working very hard and still not moving toward anything specific. You can be the person everyone depends on and still not be seen as ready for the next level. You can be solving problems behind the scenes and still not be considered when leadership is looking for someone to lead the next project. And that is painful, especially when you know you are capable. You know you are doing the work. You know you are adding value. But somehow, when opportunities come up, your name is not in the conversation. For many immigrants, this can feel even more confusing because many of us came from cultures where humility, loyalty, and hard work were strongly valued. So you think, let me just keep doing good work. Let me not make noise. Let me not draw too much attention to myself. Let me just be loyal. And there's nothing wrong with being loyal. But in the workplace, people also need to understand your value. They need to know that they need to know what you are good at. They need to know what you want to grow into. They need to know the kind of opportunities you are interested in. Sometimes your work is appreciated, but not connected to the next opportunity. Sometimes people respect you, but they still do not know your ambition. They do not know what skills you are trying to build. They do not know what you are ready for. And if people do not know, they may not think of you. Not because you are not good, but because you have not helped them connect the dots. That is why hard work alone is not a career plan. Hard work is the foundation, but it's not the full strategy. Now, what is my point 2? How to know if you're drifting. So how do you know if you're drifting? You may be drifting if you're doing the same work, same kind of work, year after year after year, but you have no clear sense of what you are building toward. You may be drifting if you are always busy, but when someone asks you, what is your next career goal? You do not have a clear answer. You may be drifting if you are waiting for your manager to notice your growth, but you have not had a real conversation about your development. You may be drifting if you keep saying yes to work that keeps you busy, but does not move you toward the career you actually want. You may be drifting if your resume is full of tasks, but not enough growth. And you may be drifting if you are quietly frustrated, but you have not named what you want. That last one is important because sometimes frustration is information. You are not necessarily frustrated because you are ungrateful. You may be frustrated because something in you knows there is more. Maybe you have outgrown the way you are being used. Maybe you want more responsibility. Maybe you want to use a different part of your gift. Maybe you have been helping everyone else move forward, but you have not paused to ask, where am I going? What do I want to build? What do I want to be known for? What kind of professional do I want to become? Those questions matter because if you do not answer them, other people may define your path for you. You may become whatever the organization needs you to be in the moment, the helper, the fixer, the dependable one, the one who always keeps things moving. And listen. Those are good qualities, but they are not a career direction by themselves. At some point, you have to stop and ask, am I growing or am I just useful? Because being useful is good, but being useful without direction can become a trap. Let me share something personal with you. This is a personal reflection. I've had seasons in my own career where I worked hard, but I did not always have the language for what I wanted next. I thought being excellent would be enough. And excellence matters. I've said it over and over. But I've learned that you also need to name your direction. You need to build relationships. You need to ask questions. You need to prepare before the opportunity comes. Because when the opportunity arrives, people need to know that you are ready. You cannot always wait for someone to tap you on the shoulder. No, you cannot always wait until the perfect job is posted. And you cannot wait until you feel 100% ready. Sometimes you have to begin where you are. I think about people I've seen grow in their careers, not because they had everything figured out from the beginning, but because they became intentional. Someone could start in an administrative role and they begin paying attention to systems. They learn how information moves. They learn how decisions are made. They take a course. They volunteer for a project. They ask better questions. Over time, they are no longer known only as the person who completes tasks, who is in one particular box, administration or whatever. They become known as someone who understands how to improve a process. So when an opportunity opens, people are not surprised because they have already seen the growth. That is the difference. Some people wait for the opportunity before they prepare, but strategic people prepare before the opportunity appears. And that is what I want for you. Not just to be busy, but to be building. Not just to be helpful, but to be positioned. Not just to survive the workplace, but to grow with clarity. So here is your assignment for this week. Ask yourself one honest question. Am I building my career or am I letting it happen? Because once you name the drift, you can begin to change direction. You do not need to have the whole plan today. You do not need to know every step, but you do need to stop assuming that hard work alone will carry your career where it needs to go. Hard work needs direction. Excellence needs visibility, and your growth needs your participation. So this week, choose one area where you will stop drifting and start moving with intention. One conversation, one skill, one relationship, one opportunity, just one clear step. That is how growth begins. If this message helped you, like the video and share it with a friend who needs it. And subscribe for more conversations on confidence, visibility, and thriving in the workplace. And if you're already subscribed, thank you. I truly appreciate you because you matter. You deserve to grow. You deserve to thrive. And I am cheering you on.